Good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you are joining us from. Thank you to all of you for finding the time to join me in this session on testing certifications. My name is Magdi Hanna. I'm the chairman and CEO of the International Institute for Software Testing, and I will be your sort of information sharing agent today, if you will. I would now want to call myself instructor in this session, because this session is mostly an information sharing. Now, having announced myself as the chairman and the CEO of the International Institute for Software Testing, any one of you may think that this is going to be sort of a sales pitch or a promotion of the IIST certification. In fact, it is not. I will promise you I will be as accurate as I can be based on what I know about certifications. I'll share with you all information I know about certifications so that you can make an informed decision whether you should be certified or not, and if you were to be certified, what certification would you pursue? So I will be totally impartial in this talk. Let me just make sure that people are hearing me. Go ahead, if you are all hearing me, just raise your hand, please. Anyone who's hearing me, raise your hand. Okay, thank you, Bonita. Okay, at least one person hearing me, so I'm going to assume everyone else is, right? Thank you. Thanks for everyone else. All right. So, yes, there are before I start this, it is not a secret that this webinar is sponsored by the International Institute for Software Testing, presented by myself. And it is true that IIST is the leader in software education and certifications in the world. And I will speak about education-based certifications in a little bit. But of course, whether you are certified or whether you carry some sort of certification or not, you probably know very well that there are so many certifications out there. You may not be able to decide what to do, should you be certified or not. And if you decide actually to be certified, what are the benefits and what certification would you go for? As I said, I will do everything I can to be very impartial in this talk. Okay, every one of us has his or her own reasons to be certified. So if I may get some ideas from my audience today, just share with me through the questions panel, just to click on the questions tab, and please give me your own reasons why you would want to be certified. That's, of course, if you have decided to be certified or to achieve any certification. Share with me, please. Why would you want to be certified? What are your reasons? What are your goals? What are you trying to achieve? And I will share this without, of course, mentioning your name with everyone else. Right. Okay, got one answer so far. Job advancement. Okay, sounds reasonable to me. Anyone else has a reason to be certified? Another reason here, increase in pay. Good. We're all looking for higher pay, whether from our current employer or another employer. If my current employer is not valuing my service, I can go and look for someone else. Okay. So more answers here. It reflects a certain level of professionalism. Thank you, Larry. This is a good answer. I know I promised not to mention your name, but I think this is an answer that any one of us would be proud of. Another answer, to increase my chances in getting a job. Thank you. Another answer, professional expertise and knowledge. Another one here, I learned so much from you. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to praise myself here. Thank you. The person here said, I learned so much from you when I got my CSTP and CTM certifications that I was able to tell my employers about the changes we could do to improve our process. Thank you so much. I did not expect that that to happen in the webinar, because that by itself is a kind of promoting of my the IIST certification. But thanks for the testimonial, without mentioning your name, of course. Another answer here, validating knowledge base. So someone wants to be certified to be able to validate knowledge base, and that by itself is very useful. Okay, I think these are all useful answers and very legitimate reasons why you would want to be certified. Let me share with you what I have believed to be values for certifications and benefits of certifications, and see if you share that with me or not. All right. And if you look at what I'm presenting to you, you're going to find that many of you have already shared some of these things. To me, gaining in knowledge is the key. Learning something new is the key. But even more important is that what you are learning is going to help you do a better job. Of course, I mean, someone says, "Oh yeah, so I want to be certified so that I can get a raise." Well, how would you get a raise? Is that because of the certification, because of the piece of paper, or because of the fact that you actually gained the knowledge that allows you to do a better job? And then you would hope that your employer or another employer would value your contribution to the projects. Again, along the same lines, to gain new skills that enable you to take a new role. And that's very important, by the way. Excuse me. So if you are a test professional or QA analyst today, how would you learn new things? So your hope from the certification is to learn new skills that allow you to get into the role of a test lead, a test manager, a QA manager, and so on. So that's another reason to be certified. Again, one more time, if you look at it, it's all about knowledge and the new skills that help you advance in your job. And of course, once you learn those new knowledge and skills, you will be able to contribute in a very positive way to the success of your project. And to me, that's a very reasonable way to measure whether you achieved what you wanted to achieve or not. If you get certified, but the certification has no impact on your contribution to the success of your project, then that certification was useless, was waste of time. So your hope is when you work on your project, you'll be able really to help your project succeed based on the new skills and the new techniques and new methods you have learned. And of course, it goes without saying, we know that the QA and the test profession have not been looked at very favorably amongst some people, and that started to improve every day now. So your goal is to really boost the credibility of the profession, because it turns out that in many organizations, people who are doing testing, they bring them from anywhere that they did not do like they probably were from user experience, from different user communities, which is fine, because those people, if they used the application before or they have knowledge of the business, they are actually the best people to test similar applications. But the problem is when those people do not gain more knowledge and more skills along software testers. I meet a lot of intelligent people who are who have the title of business analysts, and they do a great job in testing. And the great job they do, they do it based on their experience working with a similar application or similar system. And they probably were using that system at some point of time. In fact, when I went to some of the Air Force bases around the country, I met some very intelligent former pilots who used to fly the F-16 fighters, and they have good knowledge of the aircraft, and they know how to think about scenarios to test those aircrafts. However, they lack any knowledge of testing techniques, how to manage the testing effort, how to schedule their tests. You put them there and you ask them about certain things that could possibly happen in the aircraft system while it is up there in the air or in the field. They will give you some great ideas. So really, as a result, we need to really do everything we can to boost the credibility and say we are not only understanding how the application works, but we also know a lot of methods and techniques. Testing is not something you learn in a day and night. If you look at the set of courses that IIST has about testing, we have over 120 courses covering every aspect of software testing and the QA. When I started the International Institute for Software Testing back in 1999, we had only 5 software testing courses. And if you had asked me then, at that time in 1999, I would not have thought that one day we'd have over 120 courses. Now, how did this happen? The body of knowledge of testing and the QA has evolved over the years. If you just go to our website and enter the word agile, which of course did not exist back then in 1999, you find a large set of courses that are addressing testing in agile environment. If you enter the keyword database, you get a number of courses that have to do with testing database applications and so on. So again, the body of knowledge of testing has evolved over the years, and we need to learn all that. I've heard the next one from some of you to demonstrate some level of professionalism on the job and to be able to interact intelligently. Of course, knowledge is power. We all know that. When you know stuff, you can easily interact with people in the project without being afraid of showing some level of ignorance. You don't easily get intimidated by other people because you know stuff. Okay? So knowledge is important, and when you have that knowledge and when you have those skills, you can easily interact with people on any level. But of course, you always have to leave some room for learning, and you always say things like, correct me if I'm wrong, or my understanding is this, or whatever, but at least you feel brave. Guys, I have been around test teams. I go to a lot of organizations to evaluate their testing process. And I meet with members of the test team. I am sorry to tell you that in some of the meetings, some of the members of the test team are sitting there not talking at all. Why aren't they talking, do you think? We discuss things, we ask questions, we say things, and few people sitting there are not saying anything. Why is that? Because they're afraid to say something wrong. So, and they go by the false advice that you better listen, not talk. Don't talk. If you want to learn, you better listen. But that does not leave a good impression with people. Okay. So, meeting with the director of software testing services, and then there's a number of test leads and test managers sitting there. There's a number of members of the test team. And then now, for the first time, the director is seeing people that are not saying a thing. They're afraid to talk. So it is important to have the knowledge and the experience and the skills to allow you to interact. All right. So so this is, in my opinion, a summary of the value and the benefits of certifications. Okay. But as you can see, it's all about knowledge, skills that will help you do a better job. And if that's what you have in mind as the purpose of being certified, then that will allow you or will help you decide what type of certifications you want to go for. There are basically two main approaches to certifications. Okay. And I am not making that up. There is the one that most of you are familiar with, which we, as the International Institute for Software Testing, refer to it as exam-based. All right? And you know that. So an exam-based certification is a certification that you are merely required to pass an exam. There is an exam, you pass it. There is interesting stuff. By the way, there's a number of companies that appeared in the last, 5 years or so, who would put exams online. Say, go, our exam online, take the exam, pay $99. If you pass the exam, we'll certify you. This is, in my opinion, is terrible. Terrible. Because it's giving a bad name to certifications. That's why several years ago, I've heard from someone who is a very known in the software testing field, who have written a number of books. He said this. He said, some of the certifications out there are not worth the paper they are written on. And I must agree. I must agree. I don't want to mention the name of the person, just in case, because he said this about almost 10 years ago. And he might have forgotten he said that, but I've seen this on one of the email trails and discussion groups. Some certifications out there are not worth the piece of paper they are written on. Why? Because those are the kind of certifications that tell you that here is an exam. If you pass the exam, we will certify you. And I came across one of those companies about a month ago, and I was very disappointed. How could a company do that? Of course, all their goal is to collect $99 from people. All right, and they have the exam, multiple choice exam online that takes you about, it's 100 questions. All of them are multiple choice. And you go online, take the exam, pay the $99, take the exam, they send you certification. Right. Now, I don't want to generalize here, but it is true that exam-based certifications, the focus on passing the exam. The focus is on how to predict the questions in the exam and answer those exams. And it's no secret that some of those organizations that are offering those kind of certifications are QAI, IISTQB, and ASCQ. Now, I understand. Some of you might say, oh, no, an IISTQB, I have to take a course. No, you don't have to take a course, but you could choose to take a course if you wanted to. And the course is normally called what? A prep course, an exam preparation course. The body of knowledge of these certifications is published there. You can look it up, you can read about it, you can try to master the contents. By the way, if I say anything that you disagree with, I'm very open-minded, by the way, and I will never feel offended if you disagree with me. If you disagree with me, please share this with me through the questions tab, and I will share it with everyone else. And that would be your point of view, which certainly can be very different from my point of view. So if I say anything you feel it's wrong or you disagree, please share this with us. That's very important now, because I don't want to be sitting here saying things and everyone has to agree on what I'm saying. All right. So one more time, I've seen all these exams. I have seen all these courses that are referred to as prep courses, and it does not matter who's giving the course. Why? Because the purpose, the mission of the course is to maximize the percentage of people who would pass the exam. As a result, some people who are teaching these courses, they go and do everything they can to try to obtain questions from past exams, and they share this with you. I've seen at least 2 or 3 of those courses that spend most of the time in the course helping you answer the questions in past exams. Does this help you in any way? Of course it does. It helps you pass the exam. And if that is your goal, is just to get certified and to get a certification that you could just take it back to your employer and say, I am certified now, I need a higher raise, that's okay. I am not going to tell you this is wrong. Why? Because it does meet the objective of, or does it helps you meet your goals, which getting a better raise, a higher raise or higher pay based on the certification. Now the question is, would your employer really give you a higher raise because you got certified in this by this method or not? That's a different question. Would your employer really value this certification or not? I don't know. I don't know. I think I'm seeing that employers are becoming very smart now, that they understand that some of those certifications, as I stated earlier, some of those certifications are not worth the paper they're written on. So you waste your time, you go get certified, and you find that it doesn't make any difference. It does not make any difference. And that's okay. Some employers would not care about certifications. And your employer is one of those. So anything else I want to say about exam-based certifications? The prep course is optional. You don't have to take it. So many people out there have been certified using one of those certifications that have not taken a prep course, but they managed somehow to pass the exam. Okay? Now, I want you to think about it. What do these people do to our test profession? Now you go and hire a bunch of people, and I'm telling you now, hiring managers speak with me all the time. I have had a lot of complaints from hiring managers saying that I hired the people who have been certified. See, the point is now hiring managers start to generalize and say, I hired the people who have been certified. and they don't even know how to write a test case. They don't know how to write one single test case, but they have been certified. At least I heard this one like a year ago from a director of testing services worldwide in a very large consulting company. I mean, you can just make a guess. And he did say that when I was trying to speak to him about certification, he said, I have people who have been certified who do not know how. I send them to our customers and they do not know how to write one single test case. Of course, because they did not learn how to write a test case in their certification. So the certification did not teach them anything. They took an exam. They passed the exam. But as we're going to see in a little bit, passing the exam does not really make you a better professional, does not teach you anything. Especially if that exam is a multiple choice or true or false. You can guess your way out of it and you can pass the exam. Again, one more time, I'm emphasizing these things, giving you an opportunity to disagree with me. Absolutely. If someone out there now with me today in my audience is willing to say, no, you're wrong, Magdi, because I took that exam and during that exam, I learned a lot. I want to hear that. I want to hear how you can learn from taking an exam, whether it is 50 questions or 100 questions, that's multiple choice, and you answer enough questions to make you pass the exam. What did you learn from it? All right. The other approach that clearly the International Institute for Software Testing decided to take starting from its inception back in 1999, when I brought together the advisory board, and you can see the names of the people in the advisory board on our website, and I had very good people in this advisory board over the years. And their mission and their purpose was like that. He said, we want to teach people stuff. We want to teach people stuff. We want to make sure that people know what they're doing. And that's what makes us different from everyone else. Because you can imagine, you bring an advisory board, you give them an idea, you tell them, here's what I want to do, and you ask for their help. The first question they ask you says, how are you going to be different from everyone else? Because, by the way, IIST QB did not exist at the time. In 1999, when IIST started, IIST QB did not exist. QAI existed, and there was a certification from QAI called Certified Quality Analyst, CQA. And around that time when IIST started, QI came up with the certification called Certified Test Engineer. Certified Test Engineer, which they had to change the name at a later time because state agencies said you cannot use the word engineer unless you are graduating from an engineering school. So I think now, if I'm correct, because I don't hear much about QI now, I think this is what's called certified tester. Certified tester. So, and ICQB came long after that. Okay. But the advisory board of IIST decided that we're going to take the approach of education-based. And that's why in education-based certifications, you have to take courses, very much like what you did in college. By the way, at the time I founded IIST in 1999, I was still a professor of software engineering at the University of St. Thomas in Minnesota. Okay, so I was teaching mainly in the Masters of Software Engineering. Okay, actually I was teaching in two Masters programs, Master of Software Engineering and Master of Software Design and Development. And later on, and also taught in the Master of Software Systems. So 3 master's program. In fact, this is my first time to share this in public. I had tried to start this effort of teaching people how to test and getting people certified inside the university. I wanted this to come out of the University of St. Thomas. Well, bureaucracy, logistics, whatever you want to call it, it did not allow me to do that. Because of my belief in education, because of my passion about educating the tester profession, I went out, I took 2 years off from University of St. Thomas. Again, I'm sharing this history for the first time. Not everyone knows that. So I took 2 years off from the university to establish IIST. And then later on, I resigned from my job at the university. But just to tell you that, this is all about education. For me, it was not, truly, it was not about business. It was not about making money. I was 100% willing and ready to do this as part of the school, of the university. And the university will make the money. I don't care. I wanted to find a nice channel, a good channel for the software tester professionals to learn techniques and the methods to help them improve and boost the credibility of the testing profession. And when I could not do this inside the university, I went out. I got the advisory board, which are very reputable people in the field, and we decided to do this. So just this is giving you an idea about the mission of IIST. It's all education based. Everything requires courses. Everything requires a passing an exam in every course you take. And the exams, from the very beginning, the exams were decided to be not true or false or multiple choice. Again, because the advisory board strongly believed that multiple choice exams and the true or false exams, exam questions, do not teach you anything. How do you learn? You learn when you get a problem to work on. When you get a problem to work on. So to kind of solidify what you learned in the course. If you look at some of the exam questions in some of the courses, at least that I teach, and I have another 25 other instructors who teach at the IIST, if you look at some of these questions, most of our exams are open book. We're trying to move toward open book exams. Why? Because the exam questions they give you a problem to work on. One of the questions in one of the exam, for example, it says you've been hired as a QA manager. Okay, what would you decide to be the purpose and the charter of your quality organization? Something like that. And another question would say, for example, here's a requirement. How do you break this requirement into a number of scenarios, number of test cases? So they give you hands-on, something to work on. Now, of course, I cannot claim that all our exams are in this fashion. But that's how we're moving. We're moving towards those kind of questions and those kind of exams because we believe that those are the kind of things you can learn from. You can actually learn something in the course and you can come and take the exam and you learn even more in the exam. So everything has to be teaching. Now, most of our courses are of course, they are practical in the sense that they only teach you the stuff that you can use in your projects. Okay. Again, I have to control myself here because I feel I am moving towards promoting and advertising our certifications. But I am really mainly telling you the difference between exam-based certifications and education-based certifications. Okay. As a result, based on what I just said, you need to think about, okay, how do I know one certification is better than another? You really, in software testing and the quality assurance, You don't have too many to choose from, let's face it. You have ISTQB, you have QI, you have ASCQ, the American Society for Quality, and you have IIST. And of course, you have other, my gosh, other companies that I don't know where they come from. I came across a company yesterday, my God, not this day before. Someone sent us a message, said, I got certified. I received my CSTP from a company in Australia in 2009, but I never really I never really had time to make sure that you have a record of that. I looked up the company. They are one-person company who actually decided to infringe on the name of CSTP, and they issue a certification called CSTP based on an exam. And companies do this all the time. We decided we're not going to go after that company. Just let them do what they're doing. I mean, people will see that this is fake. This is all fake. So I wanted to mention that because I wanted to be careful. Not everyone uses the name CSTP is really IIST. A lot of people use the name, use this name, Certified Software Testing Professional, trying to convince themselves it's generic enough. But of course, if IIST has been issuing CSTP since 1999, you can't just go and say, I'm going to issue CSTP as well. And people do that, and we'll let them do this. But we don't have time to go into a legal battle with those people. So there are at least two companies doing that. There's something called the Knowledge Academy, who are doing the same thing. Same thing. They're offering a course. They call it CSTP course, Certified Software Testing Professional course, and they certify people. All right, so that's not our problem at this point. So here are a few things for you to look at, honestly. And yes, it looks like I'm giving you things to look at that will always lead you to think of IIST for certification. But again, that's why I say, if I ever say anything you disagree with, share it with me. Let me peek into the questions panel here to see if anyone is asking a question. Okay. I have a comment here. Okay. I'd rather not share that comment because it's a promoting of IIST. Okay. So the first question you have to ask yourself, the body of knowledge that I am going to learn, does it line up with what I want to learn? Not does it line up with the objectives of those people who are going to certify me? Who cares? You're not being certified because someone believes that you have to learn certain things. You want to be certified because you believe there are certain things you want to learn. So I suggest you read the body of knowledge carefully. Whether it is the actual body of knowledge published by like ISTQB or QI, or the course outline. Read the course outline. Find out if this is what you want to learn or not, because if this is not what you want to learn, why waste your time and money? That's what I'm saying. Does it line up with your professional goals? Okay. How much will you learn in the process of getting certified? Because learning here is the key. If you don't learn enough from the certification, then there is no value for that certification. Most importantly, what you're going to learn, is it going to help you do a better job or not? Because if you learn a lot, but it does not help you do a better job, so why waste the time? Your goal today is to learn things that you go back tomorrow or next week and use what you're learning in your projects and be able to actually show level of professionalism that your manager and your supervisor will see. In fact, you can contribute in a very positive way to any project you work on. That's what you want to show. You do not want to show a piece of paper. You do not want to show a logo that you put on your shirt. No, you want to show professionalism and ability to uh, to work on very hard tasks and do them. And not only that, you want to share your knowledge. We always tell this to our people when we teach the courses. We give them stuff. We say, go back to your team and share this with them. Whatever it is. If I give you a way to, for example, document bug reports or a way to organize your test, whatever it is, I say go back and present this to your team in any form you want and see if they like it or not. So sharing information is very important. And of course, it goes without saying, are you going to get certified? Are you going to achieve a certification that your employer is going to care for or not? If your employer already have a perceived notion that this certification is nothing, so don't even waste your time. Find out what kind of certifications your employer value. Here's one of my most important thing. What is the experience of the instructor? Because guess what? You do not learn from the course itself. You learn from the instructor and his or her experience. If I give a course to someone who does not have enough experience, guess what he or she will do? They will be reading the slides of the course. By the way, I'm going to tell you this. Many of the prep courses out there for other certifications are written by someone and they're given to multiple people to teach. We call those canned courses. A canned course is like a course in the can. You give the can to a number of instructors, says, here's a course, go ahead and teach it. And if you look at the experience of the person who's teaching the course, oh my God, I can show you where to go to find the courses out there that are taught by people who have never been in software testing or have been a test professional for a number of years. Experience is important because that's what you learn from. When you come to learn from any instructor, you learn from what this instructor has done over the years. That's why at IIST, all courses are written by their own instructors. You can imagine how often I get people asking they want to teach for us. And they think that we're going to give them course material to teach. And we never did that. Never in the history of IIST that I allowed course material that were written by someone to be given to someone else to teach. Never have done that and will never do that. Because if the instructor did not write the course material, then he or she does not have the experience to teach it. So here is what happens when people approach us and says, I'd like to teach for you guys. So my first response is says, look at our course list and tell me which one of those areas you feel comfortable with. And of course, the response I get back, someone says, oh, I can teach you this, I can teach you this, I can teach you this, I can teach you this. And they list about 15, 20 courses. So great. Why don't you take the time, write an outline for a course that you would like to teach? and then they get the surprise. And they say, oh, I thought you have already course material. No, we don't. Again, one more time. Every course material we teach is written by the instructor who is teaching it. Why? Because the instructor has experience. When I put one slide in my course, you can imagine I put the slide only because I have done this in the field. So that's very important. Experience of the instructor, especially with the material that he or she is teaching. Okay. More things to look at. All right. If you decide to take one of those certifications that has a prep course, you need to evaluate that prep course. Okay. How practical it is, meaning that how does it relate to your job? If the prep course has a stuff that mainly has to do with the topics that are required by the certification, well, guess what? It may not relate to your job, but it may. I mean, I'm giving you some room here. Again, don't take a course, don't take a prep course just because it helps you pass the exam. Look at the prep course, see how much practical experience, how does it relate to your job. Now, this is very important now. The flexibility of the body of knowledge is critical. You remember when you were in college and there were certain courses you must take and you hated them because you don't believe that you're going to learn anything that's useful for you, but you've got to take them because you have to take them. It's a part of the major you are finishing. We all went through this. We all went through this. Okay? Because someone else decided, aside from what you want, decided that in order to be certified, in order to get this degree, you must finish courses in this area. And you can agree that, yes, to a certain extent, there must be something of that. But to a certain other degree, there has to be some level of flexibility to allow you to select other courses that you may feel comfortable with. Okay. So it is very important to know that the training program that is leading to the certification is flexible. And that's one of the things that IIST made sure to adopt in our programs. Meaning what? In most of our certifications, especially once you go beyond the basic certification. If you're going for the basic level certification, then you have to take certain, you have to study certain topics. Okay, you have to study certain topics. But then once you move on to test automation certification, agile certifications, test lead certification, test management certification, you have a level of flexibility, you have a level of freedom to choose other courses that you may not, that will have to help you do a better job. That's very important. And you can see this available on our website. That goes without saying. Will this certification help me advance in my career? But not based on the fact that you have a piece of paper that you can show to your boss. Finally, here's what most important thing is that would you be better professional and you have learned better ways to do your job after you get certified? This is, to me, the most important measure you have to look at. All right, let me peek into the questions here to see if I have any question or any comments from anyone else. No. All right, so now let me give you 6 facts very quick. If you disagree with any of those facts, let me know. The value, as we discussed, the value of any given certification depends on how it helps you do a better job and how you become, how you achieve your professional goals. If it does not help you, then it does not have any value. To me, that's what it is. The value of the certification is in how much it teaches you and how it lines up with your professional goals. Now, some people, I mean, I get a lot of people say, I have a lot of experience. I have people, I've seen people who are totally against certifications. And those are the people who have been working in the field for a number of years. But the interesting thing is that when the market changes, we get those people back and you want to be certified. But some of them are against certifications. Why? Because I know enough. I know everything. I've been doing this for 10 years. If you are willing to trust my judgment as an educator, I'll tell you this. Learning on the job has values, but you must always seek best practices by other people. You learn from other people. You don't only learn in the job. What you learn in the job is very related to what you're doing, to your job, to your project, to the practices that are adopted in your organization. But who told you these are the best practices? You need to go out and learn other things. And some people will say, okay, I'll go and read some books. I'll talk about reading books in a little bit. But let's agree that education is the only way to create and advance a profession. I can't believe that we are hoping to advance the software testing profession without receiving education. Certifications does not advance a profession, especially exam-based certifications. Achieving a certification by itself does not create and advance a profession. What creates and advances professions is education and knowledge. Okay, keep that in mind. Now, if you are into reading books, that's great. It is necessary for you to read. But what do we learn from books? We get knowledge. But you never get the hands-on experience, which you can get in some of the courses you take from organizations like IIST. Okay? I mean, of course, you can read books and you're supposed to read books. But please understand that problem-solving skills can only be taught in courses. I will continue to say this, and I know some people might disagree with me, especially those people who teach some of those courses. But whether you're willing to admit it or not, all those exam prep courses are mainly focusing on passing the exam. You know why? Because that's their way to make the money. If they don't focus on passing the exam, because some people actually use the percentage of people passing exam as a way to market their courses. They want to say 99% of people taking our course pass the exam. They want to be able to say things like that. And in order for them to say that, they have to actually work hard on helping you pass the exam. Okay, that's the way it is. Because if a large number of people do not pass the exam, then no one is going to buy their courses. Okay. But I want you to remember, because that's the last effect I'm going to give you. Passing an exam by itself does not improve your skills. I already talked about that, but I put this in the form of a fact for you here. What improves your skill? Taking courses, learning techniques, learning methods, practicing on those methods and techniques. Okay. Here are the list of certifications from the International Institute for Software Testing. I have only 6 minutes left. You can actually see those when you go to IIST.org or testingcertification.com. And let me just quick go there so if you go here and go to certifications, you're going to find all these. I mean, it's easier to see them on the website because you can click. So very quick on the structure of certifications. There is the first type of certifications are what we call professional testing certifications, certified software tester professional. There is associate level and followed by the practitioner level, followed by the master level. Every one of those certifications requires certain body of knowledge. This requires only 3 days of training. This requires an additional 4 days of training. This requires an additional 3 days of training. Okay, the next type of certification is the agile testing certifications. And the agile certifications have 2 levels. the practitioner level, and the master level. However, in order to achieve the practitioner level, you must have a basic certification, either the associate level here, or you can have IIST QB certification, or you can have the certification from QAI. Will just require some prerequisite in order to get to that Agile certification. The test automation certifications have two levels. The certified software test automation specialist, and this you do not have to have a certification in order to start this, but you can have a number of years of experience. I can't remember, I think it's 3 years of experience in software testing in general, and you can do this. As you can see, once you see the arrow going this way, that means this is a prerequisite for the second level. So this is certified software test automation architect, and in order to achieve that, you first have to achieve the specialist certification. Test management certification starts with the certified software test lead, which requires you to take 4 days of training, then followed by the certified test manager, practitioner level, then certified test manager, master level. There is one mobile testing certification there, which requires one prerequisite, and the prerequisite is a basic level certification. So you must have, again, either a CSTP associate level, or you can have IIST QB. And then you can pursue the mobile testing certification. This requires you to take 4 days of training. Okay. And the last and the highest level of certification is certified software quality manager. And that's a very high level certification. And it requires you to complete a total of 10 days of training. And it does not have levels because people pursuing the certification are supposed to have a job of quality manager on the company level, on the organization level, not in the team level. This is not a team level certification. Excuse me. Okay. You can get all the details of the certifications by clicking on any one of them. Let me go back to my slides quick. Of course, like any other organization issuing certifications, you have to recertify within 3 years. Now, the recertification process is not as difficult as people think. There is a number of units you have to complete to recertify or to renew your certification. Those units can be taken from IIST or from any other place. Education does not need to be provided by IIST. Just in case if people think that, IIST is doing those recertifications in order to continue to do business. No, you can go and take the courses anywhere you want, because now the purpose of the recertification is to help you remain current in your field. And we get people who are taking courses to recertify that have nothing to do at all with courses offered by IIST. It doesn't matter if you are a test manager or a test lead and you want to take a course somewhere that, for example, dealing with difficult people. Fine, go and take the course, and we'll be happy to give you credit for that course towards your recertification. We believe that the certification itself, when you achieved it, it does not give you the broadness of knowledge you need to do your job. You will have to go and do other things that are related to your job. I get a lot of people who have been certified as test automation specialists, and they go now and they started taking courses in some programming languages and some scripting languages, which is great because they want to enhance their skills in writing scripts. The automation certifications from IIST do not teach you how to write script and do not teach you scripting languages. So you can go and take them after you get certified, and you use them for recertification. Not only that, look at this text in blue. When you take courses or units to recertify, you can also use them to achieve a higher level certification. That's very common. For example, let me tell you here. So, for example, if you are a certified software test lead and you need to recertify or renew this in 3 years, we encourage you to take some of the courses that are required for the certified test manager practitioner level or master level. When you take those courses, you use them to renew the certification, but also you can use them to achieve the certification. I mean, there is nothing that says if you take those courses that are required for a higher level certification, you cannot use them again. You can use them double way, if you will. Okay. So quick here because I'm done with my time here. Now, all these, the last word I'm going to say here, all these certifications and all the courses are available online. You don't have to travel anywhere. You don't have to go anywhere to take courses. If you go to training options and you go to online self-paced training, all these courses are, they even tell you which certification they count towards, and the prices are there. And keep in mind, when you go to any page for certification, like you go here and you go to, for example, certified software test automation specialist, you click here, there is always a link here that says IIST training options. So I want you to click on that, and that's where it describes the training program for that certification. Let me peek very quick to questions. Okay, no questions to answer. I am around here to answer any of your questions. Thank you so much for being with me.